So this experiment of mine has several functions. One of them being a little goal of mine that I've set for myself for how I want to present myself when in castings for modeling. So your girl, pretty much show up anywhere I am as my fullest, most authentic self, and that is awesome, truly is. Just, I have gotten to learn through my most recent casting that it's not always the most appropriate way to present when being considered for certain projects. Like, yes, it is absolutely awesome that I am me fully, freely, that I bring a certain energy to every single room that is, honestly, it's a gift. I love my energy, and I've gotten to, at that last casting, see just how grateful people are for, well, what I did and how I was and how I interacted with them. I really am grateful for myself for how I showed up. And I did my walk, and I was super, like, I looked every single judge in the eye. I took my time, I showed them me, I did my strut, and I had so much fun. The music was great, and I just walked to the beat. It was almost a dance, and it was awesome. I kept my arms by my side. That was something I learned by my very first casting, not to swing. And honestly, I feel as though it looked really, really, really good. In my most natural state, in between this, I always have my upright posture. I am naturally quite elegant. And in this time, well, I was having a good time, and that's how I presented myself. I was not accepted by the jury. It was a point system, and I just simply didn't make it, and which is totally fine. I mean, you're not always going to make every single casting. I did, however, choose to speak to the jury, asked around, okay, so hang on, what was it about how I performed that didn't quite meet the expectations that you were bringing to this table? One of the judges told me, well, for me it was the height. She's looking for something more couture. Her fashion line has a lot of like crossbody bags, and she needs someone with a long torso and tall, someone that just fits with the rest of the cast, modeling cast, and it wasn't me. Another person that I spoke to said he really loved the energy that I brought, thought it was awesome. And then I spoke to another one. He told me that he would have liked to see more of this like straight-faced, kind of serious version rather than party, which is good. I like the feedback. It's how I learn. I'm like, okay, hang on, I can do this next time. And now I want to practice that. Well, I'm gonna be honest. At first, it was like, I don't need to change. The stage that is meant for me is simply being built. Isn't it better to have more smiling and energetic models that show the artwork you have created? As a designer, I would love for the people that wear what I create to look like they're enjoying wearing it. The modeling world has its own rules, has its own history, and yes, it is changing, and that is a wonderful thing. At this point in time, it is where it is, and I get to add the skills into my skill set on what it's like to present myself in multiple ways. One thing about castings, depending on the casting and casting size, is that in many you only have one chance to walk, and just a few seconds to show yourself to the judges. I personally find that's a little bit too short of an introduction to show who you are and what you can do, because we are very multidimensional, depending on the music, depending on the vibe. You go into a casting not quite knowing what they're looking for. I could show up and strut. I can really show my body, my movements, my figure, or I can also present more in this energy and move slowly, elegantly. I can do it all. I can do it all. However, if you've only got one walk to show, what do you show first? I would love to have more opportunity to be able to show the diversity of walks, energy, and expression that I can present. That'd be so cool. Well, for now, I'm going to be practicing what I like to now refer to as Eve.